The movie opens up in Baltimore with 14-year-old Mouse watching compiled videos of his late older brother Stro. He adores his brother so much and have a thing for dirt bikes. Since he was a child, Mouse was fascinated with riding dirt bikes because of Stro. So he pays heavy money to get his own bike from a friend around the neighborhood, but moments after he hits the road, Mouse is stopped by police because he is underage. They hand him over to Detective Rivers, who claims Mouse is his protege. Detective Rivers frequently looks out for Mouse, even though the boy doesn't like to be seen with him. He tells Mouse that he can always come up to him for advice and not when he gets into trouble, because he isn't ready to be his get-out-of-jail-free card. Mouse is especially embarrassed when Rivers drives him home. He doesn't want to be seen getting off a cop's car. He gees back home to his neighborhood where he lives with his mother Terry and little sister Shay. Terry isn't always available and ways delegate her duties to Mouse. She is also harsh toward Mouse whenever he gets all excited because of a dirt bike, but it is simply to avoid him having a similar fate to his older brother Stro. Just as she leaves, Mouse's best friends Lamont and Swear-to-God comes to see him. They tell him about a new hot girl in the street and that he really has to see her. Mouse's sister wants to be bribed for covering up for Mouse or else she will tell Mama that she was home alone. So he reluctantly tucks in some cash in her hand. Nikki on the other hand just moved into town with her grandmother and she has a thing for photography. Just as she was capturing nature, she sees the boys on their bikes. The boys ride their bikes to introduce themselves. They all act chessy and tried to rizz her up, but Mouse takes control. He tells her about the bike club and how they gather every Sunday in the summer for an event called The Ride. While she finds them to be rather cheesy, she does find Mouse endearing. Just then the boys are sent away by Nikki's grandmother. While at the store the boys make jokes of how Mouse invited Nikki to the ride but he doesn't turn up for the events because his mum never allows him, but Mouse assures them that this year he is going to be at Ride. Mouse aspires to be a veterinarian. He loves taking good care of animals and this makes his mum very proud, because he is going to break out of the system. On the first Sunday of the summer, which is the ride, Tira warns Mouse not to leave the house. He is furious at first but Shay is willing to cover up for him if only he pays well this time around. Mouse goes over to the back to get his bike as he goes to the ride event. There he is excited by all the activities going on. He meets up with his friends who jokingly dares him to ride on the streets performing his own skills. Mouse takes it serious and then rides out on the street, but his amateur level means is getting blood on his teeth. He falls off his bike as people gather to see the novice that dared to pull such a stunt. There he meets Nikki who suddenly lits up his mood. They were taking the infamous legends of the Midnight Clique strolls in with their bikes. They are known as the best riders with the best skill set. Mouse is surprised that their leader MNC Blacks had been released from prison. Mouse tells her about the culture of bike riding and his fascination with the clique. The event is then broken up by the police. While everyone was booing the police, one of the clique throws a brick at a cop car, leading to a hot chase between the gang and the police until they are given orders to stand down, allowing the gang to escape. Later that night, Mouse plans to go roll with the clique but the others feel it's a stupid idea and they wouldn't want to be seen riding with kids. Mouse motivates his friends telling them that they need to step up and try their luck. So they all ride to find the clique. They are confronted by members Queen and Jamal, who dismiss them as just kids, telling them to go get a real bike if they want to hang out with the clique. When Mouse tries to turn his bike on, it doesn't work. After Lamont and Swear-to-God leave, Mouse is approached by Blacks, who offers to help with the bike since he works in a garage for his parole. He recognizes Mouse as Stro's younger brother, as Blacks knew him and used to ride with him, and Stro would always talk about how Mouse is the future MNC. After that, showing him a collection of dirt bikes, Blacks offers Mouse a chance to help work in the garage and rebuild a bike without pay for the reward of getting his own personal bike. A happy Mouse agrees but also asks if he can get Lamont and Swear-to-God in on it. Although Blacks doesn't agree at first but then after seeing his loyalty to his friends, he approves. The boys go to work in the garage the next day. They are told to clean their bikes and assemble the parts, but Lamont and Swear-to-God don't like working for free when they could be enjoying their summer. So they give up on the garage, leaving only Mouse to continue. Mouse then goes over to see Nikki again. He brings a kitten to impress her, while trying to get her number, but unfortunately she doesn't have a phone as her grandma took it from her. Mouse learns about her home life with her mom not being great, while she learns that his real name is Myron, and Mouse was a nickname that came after he managed to catch a mouse in the house. Mouse tells Nikki he will make the most of her time there, especially since she doesn't have a phone. Before she leaves, she gives him a little kiss on the cheek which takes Mouse to Wonderland. While working in the garage, Mouse began taking about as he was going to flex the bike to make girls love him more, but Blacks gives him an orientation saying the bike was a sign of freedom and not just to flex around. Meanwhile, Detective Rivers comes over to look for Mouse, but Tira, who thinks he has been taking extra shifts, tells him that he will be at the vet. Mouse spends more time with Blacks, he even helped to take care of his sick dog. Blacks warns Mouse about making friends with Jamal and Queen, saying people like them could get him killed. The next scene, Mouse goes over to confront his friends for leaving him hanging. They tell him they can't continue working for free when they could be enjoying their summer. Mouse tries to make them see that they would eventually get a bike as reward for their hard work, but the boys thinks it's just a way of making them work as slaves. Just then Detective Rivers drives by. He tells Mouse to get in the car. He talks to him about keeping his nose clean and sticking to his vet job. He warns him that if he continues in this lane, he is going to eventually lock him up. Meanwhile, Blacks eventually allows Mouse to ride a rebuilt bike as a delivery across town. He tells him not to do the extra stuffs, and he should just ride straight without trying to do stunts. Mouse goes over to show off his new bike to his friends. While Swear to God was madly impressed, Lamont sees it as nothing. He goes over to pick up Nikki and they go for a ride. As they stop somewhere to chill, Mouse tells her about his brother Stro and his admiration for him. Just then he is approached by a young man named Derek, who used to know Stro. He asks Mouse if he can take a quick ride down the block. Just the corner and then back to him. Mouse relents at first but then gives in. Unfortunately, Derek lies and leaves him stranded there. Mouse panics and goes to Lamont and Swear to God, who already knew Derek as someone with a reputation for stealing bikes and then breaking them down to sell parts. They all agree to go confront him for what he did, so the three go to Derek's garage to try and get the bike back, but he says it's gone and then even orders them to leave at gunpoint, but a tough Lamont didn't move a muscle until the clique arrives. Derek becomes fearful when Blacks approaches him, but instead of retaliating, Blacks simply warns Derek against doing it again. Unsatisfied, Lamont grabs a brick and hits Derek with it before pummeling him to near death until the others stop him. Jamal then delivers the blow to knock Derek out cold. Blacks expresses disappointment to Mouse in how he handled himself with Derek. Meanwhile, Jamal rolls up to Lamont. He tells him that they were impressed on how tough he is and anytime he needs extra cash, he should come meet up with them. When Mouse tries to ask for work in running with the clique to make extra money that he needs to help out at home, Blacks refuses, and Mouse quits the garage. Back home, Terry also scolds Mouse for not being at the vet anymore, worrying that he is getting into trouble. Rivers also starts following Mouse to make sure he doesn't hurt himself, but Mouse crudely tells him off in an attempt to get away from Rivers. The boys decide to approach Jamal about running jobs for them. They take the boys on, allowing them to earn some extra cash. When Nikki approaches Mouse to take pictures, he brushes her off and rides away with another girl. Terry later finds Mouse's hidden money stash and she berates him, asking if he wants to end up like Stro. Terry ends up kicking him out of the house, and Mouse goes to stay with Swear to God. Meanwhile, Rivers goes to the garage to speak to Blacks. He knows that he had involvement in whatever happened to Stro, but Blacks believes Rivers doesn't care about the other black boys on the street since he has put many of them away in prison. Mouse goes to the garage again and finds that Blacks' dog Sophie isn't feeling well. They take her to the vet and find that she has a gastric dilation. The vet says that they could operate on her, but Sophie may not survive due to her age. Mouse makes the hard decision to help put Sophie down. After the procedure, Blacks comes clean to Mouse over what happened to Stro. He sent Stro out on a run, wherein Stro got killed while riding. Blacks has lived with the guilt ever since and thought that taking Mouse under his wing would make him feel like he was doing the right thing. Mouse leaves Blacks by himself. The boys go to Jamal for another job. They go to rob a convenience store that they usually go to, thinking the owners won't retaliate. They are proven wrong when the owner's wife brings out a rifle. After Lamont fires a shot, the woman begins to fire at them, killing Swear to God. Mouse and Lamont escape and split up. Mouse goes to Blacks' garage to tell him what happened. The police, led by Rivers, arrive at the garage after learning of the incident. Blacks ends up taking the blame for everything so that Mouse will not go to jail. Even though he knows the truth, Rivers takes Blacks in despite Mouse's protests. Terry watches the news report of the robbery and hears that a boy was killed. She starts to call Mouse's phone until he walks into the door. He and Terry tearfully hug each other. 1 year later, Mouse is working for the vet. He keeps in touch with Nikki after apologizing for his behavior, and she agrees to see him again soon. Mouse runs into Lamont after a long departure. They appear to be on friendly terms, despite being more distant now, and they are still mourning Swear to God's death. After they part ways again, Mouse returns to Terry and Shay with groceries.